Welcome back to another State of the Bruins. We will be talking the Bruins schedule, what's going on with them, and some statistics to start off the homestand after the All-Star break. 1-3-1, not great.
I mean, you're looking at the Calgary game, you're looking at the Capitals game, and you're looking at the game,
Tampa game,
the Tampa game, even
and the Seattle game.
They're hitting their rut. I thought it was going to happen earlier in the year. They're hitting their rut. It's Pasta and Marchand against the world right now. Coyle's looking like he's back to earth. He's not really doing that great lately. Zacha looks terrible. Frederick's hitting a skid. Jake DeBrusk is invisible. Hampus Lindholm's playing like he's a sixth defenseman this year. I'll give McAvoy's credit. McAvoy, Marchand, and Pasternak are the only three guys in this team who look like they should be everyday NHLers. I'm going to say, it may sound like a hot take. These guys they can't win a faceoff. They can't win a puck battle. They don't look like they're competing at all. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they're not looking, I don't know if desperate's the right word, but, I mean, again, this is a team that had very low or not very low, but low expectations coming into the season.
Tempered expectations, yeah.
But I think right now, Zacha is the best looking player.
Ugh.
He's got 5 points in 5 games. Pasta got his first goal last night. That's 5 games after the All-Star break, since the last game before the All-Star break.
I just think they put way too much on him. And, yes, he's going to have off games. So did Ovechkin. So did Steven Stamkos, who's scoring 60 goals. He's going to have games where he's not as involved. You can tell Kucherov is those games. McKinnon, they lost 6 out of 7 out in Colorado. He had like 3 points in 7 games. These guys are workhorses, and unfortunately, there's going to be games where they don't look great. There's going to be games where they're turning the puck over. So I just think, but guys like Zacha, Coyle, Frederick, DeBrusk, guys who aren't making all the offensive impact that a Pasternak does or a Marchand does, they have to step up in other ways. And right now, they're not.
You want to hear something crazy?
Let's hear something crazy.
The Bruins have played in 54 games this season.
54, okay.
There's only 3 players. There are only 3 players that have played in all 54 games.
Pasternak. Marchand. Is it Brandon Carlo? I don't know who the third one is. Is it Frent Tredrick?
Charlie Coyle.
Okay. I mean, I knew that I was going to say McAvoy, but then I remembered he got suspended. So, but I mean, a lot of teams are like that. They get a lot of banged up guys. They get a lot of guys who, on back-to-backs, they may sit out because of a nagging injury or something. You don't really see a lot of guys play every game. Pasternak doesn't really get hit, I'm going to say, so he probably will play every game. But the other night he had to leave because of, I think it was like a side injury or something for like 2 or 3 minutes. Came back out there, didn't really look like the same player. So it's probably another nagging injury, but you just have to push through it.
Swayman. The All-Star game, I think got to him. Because he hasn't been looking great coming out of the All-Star game.
Do you think Tate McRae got to him? Do you think the Tate McRae hype's getting to him? I mean, I'm seeing people painting them together, and I don't know. I mean, maybe he's getting an inflated ego. I don't know. Hey.
And more inflated ego than you've already thought he has?
Oh, he has the biggest ego I've ever seen for a backup goalie. So, loser.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this multiple times before, and not to beat a dead horse, but we're dealing with 2 goalies that aren't really starting goalie caliber, I guess.
They're more like 1A, 1B than a starter.
They're like fringe starters, I guess. I don't know. But Swayman let up a couple soft goals in the All-Star game, and now either teams have figured it out because I'm guessing a lot of coaches were watching the All-Star games while they were on All-Star break. Most likely spending time with their families, but also watching it. So they must have figured something out because the softest goal that he let in though was the goal that the first goal that Seattle scored to tie it 1-1.
Yeah, that was a brutal goal. I mean, it's just, I don't know if the pressure's getting to him. That's what I don't know, because it's getting to DeBrusk, you can tell. It's getting to Grzelcyk, both in contract years. I think the Bruins have to make their decision on Ullmark and Swayman this offseason coming up, because I think they want to give one of them that big extension, and they're going to trade the other one. So Swayman might be feeling the pressure too. I mean, they couldn't handle Bruce Cassidy. They basically had to get him out because DeBrusque,
Players
Carlo,
couldn't handle
Grzelcyk.
the criticism.
Yeah, they couldn't handle when guys called him out. So maybe Swayman's the same way. Maybe he's thinking about it and he's going, oh, if I keep playing this way, then I can probably get an 8-year contract, 7-year contract worth $7-8 million. So it might be the pressure. These guys cannot handle pressure on the Bruins. They are crack under pressure. They're just eggs that are ready to crack.
That's fair.
That's what they are.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I mean, he looked one way, and I don't know why he wasn't pinning the post. He should have kept pinning the post, and if he thought the puck was going the other way, I think he still would have had a little bit of time to be able to go to the other side.
I mean, still would have been a decently tough save, but like way out of position on that one.
So out of position. But the defense isn't looking great. The offense is getting a lot of chances, but they haven't figured out how to put it in the net. I mean, you're playing a guy I didn't even know was in the league.
Yeah.
Like, how are you not scoring on these no-name goalies that are coming into the league? I mean, it's kind of like Jordan Binnington coming out of nowhere in St. Louis that season that they won the Cup.
It's just like they're taking the Carolina Hurricanes method. They're going, we're just going to throw shots on goal. We're going to try to get rebounds, even though the Bruins, other than JVR, don't get rebounds. Actually, Marchand will, but he's smaller. So it's only basically JVR and maybe an occasional Frederick crappy goal. But they're just throwing pucks on the net from anywhere, and they're not really getting the rebounds. They're not really getting quality shots anymore.
They're not really getting anybody in front of the net.
No, so it's you're firing blind on the goalie and hoping that one just squeaks by him. The only guy who's really taking good quality shots I've seen McAvoy take a few in the last few games. Pasternak, obviously, every shot could go in with him. And then Marchand.
Yeah.
I mean, Coyle's just dribbling it in now. Zaka takes occasional good shots, but they mostly miss the net. So it's these impact guys are either not hitting the net or not getting good quality shots on these goalies that should be scored on.
Yeah, I think last night's game, the game against Seattle, I mean, they were hitting posts. JVR had an incredible chance to score on the power play and completely muffed it.
Yeah.
Like wide open, gaping net.
Yeah. And he
goalies in front of his stick,
yeah.
And he missed it wide.
It's just this tale of since the All-Star break with the Bruins. It's just they could not put the puck in any size net. Doesn't matter if it's a soccer net, hockey net, polo net. Doesn't matter. They're not scoring right now.
And the defense isn't really helping the goalies out either.
No. I mean, Lindholm, like I said, he is my biggest disappointment this year. He is a disappointment. He has been awful. He has one goal. So.
And it took him about almost half the season to get it.
And it was a crappy goal anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, with that in mind, and them being in contract years, DeBrusque, Grzelcyk, do you think Monty's putting DeBrusque in the shootout lineup first because of contract year, or do you think he's crying in the locker room that he's not he's not on the lineup as what he should be?
I think it's a combination of both. I think they're trying to sign him or they're trying to get max value for him. But he's also been known to complain if things get tough or something doesn't necessarily like work out for him. So I would say it's a combination of both.
I think they need to start thinking about moving Grzelcyk into DeBrusque.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to.
I don't like having DeBrusque on the shootout.
Okay.
Because the last couple seasons, first season, he was pretty successful on the shootout. But the last couple seasons, he hasn't really been successful. So, with that being said, let's briefly talk stats because this is kind of crazy. Pasternak's sitting there, 54 games. We've already talked about that. 78 points, 34 goals, 44 assists. He's averaging 19 minutes and 58 seconds of time on ice. Now, if he didn't briefly step off for that injury the other night, he probably would be averaging 20 minutes on the dot. which is wild. That's a period. That's a period of game. Pretty much a period of game for 54 games. But next highest player for points wise on the Bruins is Marchand with 50. 50. A 28-point difference between your two top scoring players is insane.
He's just carrying way too much of the load, and I think it's going to affect him in the playoffs, and I think it's going to make him tired. And I think playing all those minutes in the regular season don't mean anything. You can see the 8th seed can make the finals. Doesn't matter if you win regular season games, you have to win in the postseason.
True. But, I mean, still, you would think some people may say, well, 28 points isn't that big. But in hockey, that's a good chunk of points.
Mm-hmm. They need secondary score.
So that's our take on the state of the Bruins. Stay tuned. Next time, they have 2 more games on the homestand. They go on the road. They play the Flames and the Oilers back to back. They play the Canucks. They play the Kraken on the road, and then they come back home to finish out the month of November and play the Las Vegas Golden Knights, which would be an insane game to end the month on. So we will get back at you with those, and leave your comments, as always, for Fan Frenzy Friday.